It was during this time that George Pullman built his empire.
Take the roughest man and bring him into a room elegantly carpeted and furnished, and the effect upon his bearing is immediate.
Site of one of the most important battles in the U.S. labor movement.
Pullman is a living social organism as well as a physical historic resource. It is people and ideas and values as well as buildings and spaces and public facilities.
The Pullman car factory headquarters was gutted by fire.
That's the story of who we are. That's the story of our past. And I have no doubt that we will pass the torch from generation to generation so that it is the story of our future as well.
As America approaches its 250th birthday, Pullman National Historical Park reminds us that some of the nation's boldest ideas were not only forged in government halls or battlefields, but in the design of entire communities. When construction of Pullman began in 1880 on the marshy prairie south of Chicago, there was nothing like it in the United States. Pullman was envisioned not simply as a factory complex, but as a fully planned industrial town, where architecture, transportation, parks, industry, and civic life were woven together into one unified vision. Within only a few years, an entire community rose from the mud. Factories, homes, a school, churches, parks, shops, a theater, library, and hotel, all carefully arranged as part of one of the first comprehensive urban planning efforts in America.
And they were the cutting edge at the time. They had ventilation, windows, in every room, ventilation, clean water, nice landscaping, and they were solid brick homes. And so they were, also all of them had gas at the time. And so it was really cutting edge for the time.
At the heart of Pullman stood the towering Clocktower and Administration Building, symbols of both innovation and ambition. Their iron framing foreshadowed the structural systems that would later shape Chicago skyscrapers. Pullman's planners carefully positioned monumental buildings like Market Hall and the Arcade Building to create dramatic terminal vistas, allowing residents to see important civic landmarks at the end of major streets. The town blended Richardsonian Romanesque, Queen Anne, and Neoclassical architecture into a unified design built almost entirely of brick made from clay dredged directly from Lake Calumet. The elegant Hotel Florence became one of the crown jewels of the community. Opened in 1881, the hotel welcomed guests from around the world with wide porches, richly detailed interiors, and views overlooking the landscape grounds and factory complex. Even the stables, church, workers' home, and row houses reflected Pullman's commitment to craftsmanship, beauty, and durability. Housing was designed to provide light, ventilation, green space, and dignity at a time when overcrowded industrial housing conditions were common in American cities. Pullman was also remarkably walkable. Residents could reach factories, the local school, parks, church, and stores within minutes. Today's planners call this idea a 15-minute city, but Pullman was successfully implementing many of those concepts more than a century ago.
It was designed to be self-contained. That added to the vitality of it. For example, I think it had the first indoor shopping center, and there was a church here in the community. And it seems that that lifestyle is now being replicated in other ways, in other communities.
By the mid-1880s, Pullman had become internationally famous as one of the most ambitious experiments in architecture and urban planning in the world. More than 140 years later, its streets, buildings, and public spaces continue to shape conversations about community design, preservation, and the future of American cities. As the nation celebrates 250 years of history, Pullman stands as a reminder that America's story is also one of innovation, planning, craftsmanship, and the belief that communities could be built not only to function, but to inspire.